不是强弱之辩，更是正邪之争。你可知国家二字的分量？就算承担千古骂名，老夫又有何惧？真的可以放弃报仇吗？
你有什么要求？
你还敢回来？你的行为是叛国。
天亮，大军就将开拔。
陛下，臣妾有个请求。
这件事是万万不可能的。
Soul Land 2, Episode 151. Huo Yuhao commits treason. A level 97, titled Douluo Tianyang Douluo, moves to execute Huo Yuhao. The true identity of Crown Prince Xu Yunhan is revealed. The body sect's titled Douluo Dubusi risks his life to create an opportunity, allowing Tianyang Douluo and the others to successfully abduct the Crown Prince of the Sun Moon Empire, Xu Yunhan. But when Huo Yuhao learns they intend to use an innocent child to threaten the Sun Moon Empire, he firmly refuses. What no one present knows is that this child shares a blood bond with him. There is no way he would stand by and watch an innocent child become a sacrifice in the war of adults. So even when surrounded by more than a dozen titled Douluo, Huo Yuhao shows not the slightest intention of backing down. That very night, he and Tang Wutong secretly take Xu Yunhan away, preparing to return him to the Sun Moon Empire. However, Tianyang Douluo leads a group of titled Douluo to block their path. At first, Tianyang Douluo tries to offer a way out as long as Huo Yuhao leaves the child behind. Everything that happened before would be written off, and the two could safely return to Shrek City. But Huo Yuhao's attitude is unwavering today. He must take the child away. No matter who stands in his way, he will not change his mind. These words completely enrage Tianyang Douluo. He roars, asking if Huo Yuhao understands the weight of the word nation. Even if it means bearing eternal infamy, he will not allow Huo Yuhao to succeed. In his eyes, Huo Yuhao is merely a junior, yet he dares to speak so boldly in front of so many titled Douluo. He attacks immediately. The level 97 Super Douluo steps forward, his body erupting with golden light like the rising sun. With a single grasp through the air, a massive golden hand condensed with terrifying heat appears, clawing toward Huo Yuhao's head. The surrounding air distorts, and most terrifying of all, the scorching heat is completely confined around Huo Yuhao, not leaking out in the slightest. From this alone, one can see the terrifying control of Tianyang Douluo's soul power. Yet facing this earth-shattering attack, Huo Yuhao does not dodge. He steps forward with his left foot and slowly pushes his right palm outward from his chest. The motion seems slow, but at the moment the palm is released, every titled Douluo present changes expression, because they can clearly feel the aura behind that strike, like a 10,000-year glacier slowly advancing, its pressure rivaling Tianyang Douluo's. Even Tianyang Douluo himself is shaken. He thought he had already overestimated Huo Yuhao's strength, but upon clashing, he realizes he still underestimated this young man. Though he did not use full power, the fact that Huo Yuhao could withstand it head-on means he already has the confidence to confront him directly. At the level of Super Douluo, each rank is worlds apart. To block that strike, one must possess at least level 95 combat power. Among all the titled Douluo present, very few could achieve that. Even Huo Yuhao's father, the White Tiger Duke, can hardly believe that in just 2 years, his son's strength has grown to such a terrifying level. In pure frontal combat, Huo Yuhao is already no weaker than an ordinary titled Douluo. With Tang Wutong, who has also reached the titled Douluo level, supporting him, their combined strength has already touched the threshold of a Super Douluo. Previously in Shrek Academy's graduation assessment, one of their tasks was to retreat unharmed from a level 97 titled Douluo Yan Shaozhe, and Tianyang Douluo's strength and mastery of his martial soul are inferior to Yan Shaozhe's, so Huo Yuhao blocking that strike comes as no surprise. After failing to land the blow, Tianyang Douluo loses face. He flashes backward, widening the distance. A blazing sun rises above his head, and countless streaks of golden light shoot forth like arrows. This is one of his signature soul skills. Huo Yuhao still does not move. The palm he extended earlier slowly rises, now covered in diamond-like ice crystals. Tianyang Douluo's martial soul is a fire-attributed sun, powerful but not at the level of ultimate fire. Meanwhile, Huo Yuhao possesses ultimate ice, which naturally suppresses all fire-attributed martial souls. With the opponent's attribute inferior to his, the suppression becomes even more pronounced. Next, Huo Yuhao switches his spirit again. The Ice Bear King Xiaobai appears. A sphere of icy blue light bursts into the sky from his position, his 8th soul skill Ice Meteor. Huo Yuhao knows clearly facing over a dozen titled Douluo, including 5 Super Douluo. A head-on battle is impossible even with Tang Wutong. If brute force won't work, then he must win through strategy. First separate the strongest Tianyang Douluo, then find a chance to break through. As long as he creates distance with his top-tier concealment abilities, no matter how many enemies there are, they won't be able to track him. So he immediately uses his trump card. At first, Ice Meteor is only a 1-meter sphere ordinary in appearance. But as it rises, it rapidly expands its violent ice energy, surging within. The golden light strikes it and is instantly erased without a ripple. Tianyang Douluo's expression changes. There's no time to unleash a stronger soul skill. He can only press both palms forward to block. But the moment his hands touch the sphere, something unexpected happens. It neither explodes nor releases force, instead it sticks to his hands like glue. Before he can break free, a terrifying force erupts, not attacking him, but dragging him away at extreme speed. In an instant, the titled Douluo present watch as the Ice Meteor carries away the level 97 Tianyang Douluo like a streak of lightning, disappearing from sight. With just 2 exchanges, Huo Yuhao removes the strongest opponent from the battlefield. Before anyone can react, his spirit switches again, this time to the Snow Empress. A deep blue pillar of light shoots into the sky. Snowflakes fill the air, and the ultimate ice domain forms, instantly enveloping all the titled Douluo present. Yet it does not affect the tents behind them in the slightest. Just like Tianyang Douluo's precise control of heat earlier, Huo Yuhao's domain perfectly traps all enemies while blocking all spiritual detection. In that instant, everyone loses track of Huo Yuhao. Then the Eye of Destiny on his forehead lights up. 2 rays of golden light fall upon him, and Tang Wutong granting them the blessing of fate. Huo Yuhao grabs Tang Wutong's hand, and in the next instant the two embrace. The martial soul fusion skill erupts instantly. A golden path 30 meters wide, stretching as if to the edge of the sky, suddenly appears. 5 titled Douluo are directly engulfed in the golden light, including a Super Douluo. Those struck feel as if their entire bodies are thrown into a furnace. Their martial souls collapse instantly, their soul skills completely fail, and they are frozen in place, unable to move. Before the others can rush in to rescue them, a second martial soul fusion skill, Spiritual Storm, follows immediately. A massive purple dragon with butterfly wings bursts forth along the golden path. Countless small golden hammers scatter in all directions. The incoming titled Douluo feel as if their heads are struck by heavy blows, each one stunned in place, forced to watch helplessly as the purple figure shoots away like lightning. By the time the raging blizzard fully dissipates, only a group of dumbfounded titled Douluo remain. Huo Yuhao and Tang Wutong have long since vanished without a trace. Not long after, Tianyang Douluo returns in a sorry state. A titled Douluo from the Daoling Empire asks whether they should pursue. Tianyang Douluo stares at the fading traces of the golden path in the distance, his expression shifting uncertainly. In the end, he says only this: the objective of this operation was to assassinate Xu Tianran. Now that Du Buxi has traded his life to severely injure Xu Tianran, and everyone has returned safely, this matter ends here. Tianyang Douluo sighs. Had he known Huo Yuhao possessed such strength, if they had focused all their power on Xu Tianran from the start, they might truly have succeeded. Beside him, the shattering star Douluo can only smile bitterly, saying that even if someone had told him this before, he would never have believed it. In the end, Tianyang Douluo doesn't even want to stay another second. Under the cover of night, he leads the Douluo Empire's titled Douluo away in haste. Within days, this incident spreads across the entire Douluo continent. The Sun-Moon Empire begins large-scale troop mobilization. The entire continent is shrouded in the dark clouds of an impending war. A great war sweeping across the whole continent is now imminent. Meanwhile, inside the imperial palace of the Sun-Moon Empire, ever since her son, Xu Yunhan, was taken, all of Juzi's strength has shattered. In her chamber, she repeatedly strokes the child's clothes, tears falling heavily onto the fabric. From the preview, Juzi is seen holding clothing shaped like Tianmeng Iceworm, a subtle hint at the blood bond between Xu Yunhan and Huo Yuhao. Tianmeng Iceworm is Huo Yuhao's first spirit and his most important lifelong companion. Using this symbol to represent the father-son bond carries far more sense of fate than stating it outright. At this moment, Juzi keeps murmuring her son's name. Though she is a war goddess commanding vast armies, the empress of an empire in this moment of losing her child. She is nothing more than a desperate mother. She cannot find anyone to help her. What chills her even more is that Emperor Shu Tianran refuses to compromise for the child. No matter her status in the military, she cannot defy this cold-blooded ruler. She hates Shu Tianran's ruthlessness and hates even more those who use a baby as a bargaining chip in war. She even swears in her heart if anything happens to her son, she will drag everyone down with her. Just as she is on the verge of collapse, a familiar and gentle voice suddenly echoes in the heavily guarded chamber. Juzi instantly tenses, putting on her armor and entering a combat state. But when the voice speaks again, she freezes. The one who has come is Yuhao. She cannot believe it that someone from the enemy camp would silently infiltrate the imperial palace. Suppressing her turbulent emotions, she dismisses all attendants and closes the door. At that moment, Yuhao and Tang Wutong reveal themselves from the air. But what breaks her completely is the child in Yuhao's arms. Xu Yunhan. Juzi rushes forward like mad, hugging the child tightly and breaking into sobs. For her, these past 2 days have felt longer than 2 centuries. She never imagined that the one who would safely return her child would be Yuhao. Tang Wutong quietly steps outside, leaving them space to talk. Yuhao says, "War should never involve children. He lost his mother when he was young. He understands that pain too well. So he risked everything to bring the child back. He asks for nothing in return. Even though they are destined to be enemies on the battlefield, he would never use a child as leverage." Juzi can no longer hold back. She asks the question she has buried for years. If she had let go of her hatred back then and followed Yuhao, would things have turned out differently? She cries, saying she regrets it. Only after losing her child did she realize hatred was never the most important thing in her life. She clings to Yuhao, apologizing again and again. But there is never a road back. The most heart-wrenching moment. Little Yunhan softly calls Yuhao father. Yuhao hesitates, then embraces the child, his eyes filled with boundless tenderness. Juzi watches this scene, her tears falling even harder. She opens her mouth, but in the end does not reveal the child's true identity. After Yuhao and Tang Wutong silently leave the palace, Juzi whispers, "He is actually your child." Back in the extreme north, she secretly kept Yuhao's bloodline and gave birth to Xu Yunhan alone. Yuhao risking everything to return the child was never treason. He simply did not want his own child to relive the pain of losing a mother. He did not want an innocent baby to die in the schemes of war. On the way back, Tang Wutong says she isn't jealous, but stubbornly tells Yuhao that in the future, they must have a child of their own and that he must love her the most. Seeing her act spoiled, Yuhao can't help but laugh. Tang Wutong worries they will be accused of treason upon returning. But Yuhao has already made his calculations. He knows those titled Douluo despise using a baby as a bargaining chip, and with the coming war, his strength is still needed. In the end, this matter will simply be dropped. They fly toward the Mingdo mountain range. Back at camp, Yuhao meets the White Tiger Duke. The Duke angrily rebukes him for daring to return his actions already amount to treason. But what he doesn't understand is, Yuhao only wanted to prevent an innocent child from reliving his own tragic past. He only wanted to stop this already cruel war from becoming even more despicable. He would rather bear the misunderstanding of the world, even stand against the entire continent, than abandon his bottom line